Okay, so this is part 2 for the Hellhound. As you can see, excuse me, I'm a little bit under the weather. Basically, I've base coated it. Basically, just slapped paint on it, because at this stage you can be pretty haphazard with the painting. Turret's also just slapped some paint on it. And I don't know if you can make that out good enough. Some of the paint's a little bit uneven. I do that because I'm going to be shading it in this part of the video. So as long as it's got some paint on it, it'll be fine. Two colors. I've only used two colors so far, which is Vermin Brown and Mithril Silver. And now we're going to be moving on to shading it. So my first stage is I'm going to use a wash of gray sepia. So, and again, you could still be messy at this stage here. If I can get this thing open. Now, washes are going to get all into the recesses and the cracks and stuff. It's going to give it some depth. I don't know if you can make all that out there. You see how it just kind of seeps in there, and you can do this part really fast. In fact, most of the time you're going to be waiting for it to dry rather than actually painting it. So I usually start with one of the the side piece, pretty big. So go ahead and slap some sepia onto that, and let's go ahead and do the next section. Again, really easy to do. Just be sure to spread it out nice and even there. You know what? I don't need that there. So take that off. Watch out for those air bubbles, that sort of thing. So you kind of get the point of what I'm doing here. It's pretty basic. It's a dry brush. Now we're washing it. So when you guys talk, when you hear people talking about washing, basically they're just taking this. You can get the GW washes. Some people use ink washes. I do both. Combination of washes and inks to achieve my desired effect. I'm going to set that down because I don't want to get fingerprints on the model when I do that. Let's get that in frame. Let's kind of see what I'm talking about here. Also got one of these new flip phones for Christmas, so that's pretty awesome. Now, the Mithril Silver, a little bit too bright for the model. So we're going to move on to our second wash, which is the Baghdad Black. And again, if I can get this in, there we go. Just wash it. Like I said, at this stage, you could be messy. Doesn't really matter. because we're going to be going over next stage. I mean, we're going to be adding camouflage, battle damage, and dirt. So I mean, as I'm doing the model right now, I notice there's some, spots that maybe weren't painted so well. Others that I missed completely. When that happens, you could either, you either go back and do it, or in this case, when I start doing the camo pattern, I'll just use the camo pattern over the spots I didn't paint. So you can see the difference like almost right away. I'm gonna let this dry. Let me just show you one more quick time on one of the weapons here. Right here. You're just gonna take a big brush and wipe it all over the model. Very simple, very effective. You start to see depth and shading right away, and a lot of people would just kind of leave it that way, but and it's good enough. It's good enough for like a tabletop quality. I go a little bit further, so you'll see it in the next part of the video once all this is dry. Why don't we go ahead and let this dry, and I'll go ahead and sign off. As you can see, that's going to be the majority of the model is now shaded, and I'm just going to let it dry. So see you next time. Okay, so right now it's all dry, and to be honest with you, it looks like a giant mess, but that's okay. My next step is I'm going to be using some desert yellow to apply the camo scheme. So I usually start with my camo scheme is pretty simple. It's just a few wavy lines of the desert yellow over the vermin brown. It's I usually go on the corners and down the middle. I have to apologize, my desert yellow is rather watery, but so I have to apply several coats to get mine to look somewhat decent. And we're still at a stage where you can be kind of messy. I'm usually like that with my tanks. I usually apply on really fast coats just to get something down on it. Give me the base idea of what if it's going to look playable or not. But you never know, I might get challenged today, and then at least it's somewhat painted. It's a work in progress. A lot of my stuff it's just decent enough to play, and so I mean, this isn't like a how-to video to be really well painted. It's more like a for the average guy